Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. So to tell the story of one thing is to tell the story of everything. If we listen, we can receive teachings from every sound that enters in through the hallway of our ears. Off in the distance, you can hear people jumping on an inflatable floaty castle. We can hear the wind rustling through the pine needles in the trees. If we listen close enough, we can even hear the water rippling on the surface of Lake Tahoe. So to listen is to be in the presence and to receive the teachings of yoga. This is why the yoga tradition is an oral tradition. It's been passed down, as Amanda was saying earlier, for thousands and thousands of years in an unbroken way, often from grandparent to grandchild. Oftentimes as a story that was told right before bed. Oftentimes it would come to us through a play or through theater. Nowadays we have film and movies. But all these ways of telling stories are ways to carry on the tradition of human wisdom that we all know to be written inside our own tongue, in our own bones. It's embedded inside of us. It's in our DNA. So when we listen to a story, a myth, or a teaching, we're not learning something that's new. We're being triggered and we're reminded of something that we've always known. And this is important to remember because it radically equalizes where the teaching is coming from. It's not coming from us. It's coming through all of us, for all of us, so that we can all remember. So there's no hierarchy. The teachings are in the trees, in the wind, in the water. And I want to share with you some of these words that I try to make a point of reading the Bhagavad Gita every day because it continues to sort of quench and sort of replenish my mind. It's like an endless well of inspiration, a great reservoir of just pure wisdom. And how many are familiar with the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah. Awesome. So the Gita is considered, it's one of the preeminent teachings in the yoga tradition is compiled here in the Gita. It's a discourse between Krishna, who is the embodiment of divine consciousness, and his beloved friend Arjuna. So whenever we receive the teachings, it's always in the form of a conversation. It's one friend talking to another friend. And maybe you've had conversations with your friends, maybe here this weekend at Wanderlust, and your friend will say something, you'll be like, "Oh, I got it. You're so brilliant. Thank you." Can I have one of those?
Yes.
Thanks. Got good friends. So I'm going to read you a short passage. It's going to wet my whistle. Okay. So the stories, the myths, and the teachings that we want to share with each other this afternoon, this is to give you some context. That what we are sharing here these are the words of Sri Krishna. This is philosophy's wisdom. Now hear the wisdom of yoga. Now, hear the wisdom of yoga. Now, hear the wisdom of yoga. On this path, armed with this understanding, you will shatter your karmic bonds. This wisdom, this knowledge, even a single drop of it, is enough to shatter the great matrix of ignorance and suffering that we find ourselves trapped in. This wisdom is a key that throws the doors open to our cage so that we can see who we are, so that we can step into the open air and breathe again and feel free. Krishna reminds us that on this path, no effort is wasted. Even one mantra, one sun salutation, one moment of silence, it's recorded, and no gain is ever reversed, which means that any effort we put forth on this path No one can ever take that from us. It's always with us. Even a little bit of this practice will shelter you from great sorrow. Even a little drop of this practice can shelter us from great sorrow. I could just read this whole book right now. Okay. And this is where I'll leave it, because this is directly raised to Saraswati, who's considered a river of intelligence. And when we open up the mind, we allow the river of intelligence to course through us. She's considered an invisible river. As unnecessary as a well is to a village on the banks of a river, so unnecessary are all the scriptures to someone who sees the truth. So all the books in the world, all the teachings, they are wonderful and beautiful, and we're going to swim in them today together. But we don't want to get confused and lost and think that it's some esoteric thing that's on another country somewhere. It's what's shining right here in each and every one of us. It's the power that beats our heart, blinks our eyes, heals our wounds. The yogis say it's the light that shines through us as us. So as we listen to the stories this afternoon, remember, you are every character in the story. And the story that's being told is our story. You want to tell a story? Yeah. One of my favorite storytellers, her name is Sianna Sherman. And when I hear Sianna tell stories, it's your namesake of Sherman. I always feel like it's sure, man. But I'm so grateful to be here with Amanda and Sianna. And we're going to share a few stories of Saraswati and Hanuman. And okay, I'll shut up now.